So today's lesson is on mean, median, mode, and range. And we're going to start out by, I'm going to use the classwork homework assignment to teach the lesson. So the beginning of this will be what I'm going to call a little longer wordy, and then I'll show the kids how to shorten it, okay? Now, starting out, I've given you a page from the textbook. It is the page 652, and we're going to do 1 through 12, okay? This will be your classwork homework, and the date is the 23rd, if you're dying to label it. Okay, so these are going to be like, it's going to be your notes and your classwork homework. So I'm going to use number 1 here to teach you how to do it, and then we'll keep practicing as the time goes on. Okay, now, the first thing is with mean, median, mode, and range. The first thing you're going to want to do is whatever numbers they give you, you're going to want to put them in order from least to greatest. So what I tell my students is, I wouldn't copy these like they are. I would copy them. When I write them on my notebook paper, I'm going to write them in order from least to greatest. You want to do this starting now on every problem. The least to greatest helps you find the correct answers. Okay, so here we go. I'll find my notebook paper. Okay, so first I'm going to label it. This is my classwork homework. It is page 652, 1 through 12, and the date. Okay, now I'm working with number 1 here, and I will say they want median, mode, and range, but we're going to add in mean. So there's 4 things we're going to be finding. And mean, but we'll do that in just a second. Okay, so number 1, the first thing is, and write this the first time. You don't have to write it next time, but just this will be your reminder that you want to list them least to greatest every time. Okay. Now, another trick from old lady Donahue here is, when I list them, number 1, I'm going to mark them off. So like 13 is first, I'm going to list 13. I'm going to put a little space between them. The next one's 15. That way, if I forget a number between them, I can still fit it in there without having to erase everything. Does that make sense? A little bit? Okay, so 13, 15. There are 2 17s. Make sure you list them both. And then 20, 21, and 23. Always double check that you got all your numbers. Okay? Cross them out if you need to. Count the amount of numbers, like there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It will just help you to make sure you've got all your numbers. Okay, everybody good so far? Now, once you've done this, the 4 things, we're going to do one at a time. Okay, and I'm going to do them in kind of a weird order. I like to do them easiest to hardest, which sounds silly, but anyway. So the first one is mode. I'm going to start out with the word mode. Now, to find the mode means, hint, hint, mode means most. So, which one happens the most? Which number is repeated the most? 17. So, 17 is actually your mode for that set of numbers. It is the number that happens the most. And we'll talk about when there's no mode in a minute and if there's more than one. Okay? Next thing, we've got range. Okay. With range, we actually want the biggest or the highest number take away the smallest number. Okay? Now, this is why putting them in order is important. So my biggest number is 23. take away, my smallest number is 13, so my range is 10. That is right. So range. Now, I do have a goofy way to remember this. Not that y'all know these things, but my way of remembering it is what I call cowboys go out on the range, if you've ever heard of that. So cowboys, when they go out on the range, that means they get on their horse and they go across fields and fields and fields, and I call it collect up their cattle and bring them back to the farm. Well, when cowboys go out on the range, they go way far away. They go to the highest number or the biggest number, and then they're going to take away, as they come back home, you're getting rid of that smallest number. Range, like the word range. The words cowboys go out on the range. Now, if you can think of another way to remember it, feel free. That's just my goofy one. Like I said, mode means most. Range, I say cowboys. It's up to you if you want to remember it that way. Okay, the next one is median. Median means middle. It means middle number. Or numbers, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Listen, in the road, there's a median. The car can't cross the median, or you drive through the median. So that's the way to remember median, the middle of the road. Now, I literally use my goofy fingers, and I do this. They've got to be in order first before you can find the median. You've got to put them in order from least to greatest before finding the median. So that 17 is the median. Does that make sense? Okay. In a minute, we'll talk about what if there was more than one median. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. So my median is 17. Okay. Now my last one, and the reason I save this for last is it's not hard. It's just going to take a little more paper. Okay. The last one is mean. And I probably shouldn't say this on video, but the way I remember it is teachers are mean. We average your grade. Okay? We add them all up, and then we divide by however many grades you have, basically. Okay? Even though it's all done in iNow these days, this is what you have to do. To find the mean of a set of data, we're going to add all the numbers up. And then divide by how many numbers you have. Okay. And we won't have to write all this next time. I'll shorten it when we get to number 2. Okay. So mean. First we want to add them up. Now listen, you can use a calculator. Please use a calculator. Okay. Key it in the calculator twice. Okay. So, this is the adding part. It's 126 is the adding. Divided by, how many numbers are we working with? 7. You divide by however many numbers you have in your list. So 126 divided by 7 is 18. 18 is the mean, okay? It is the mean. It is the average, okay? Now, there's one last thing I want to say. This week in your vocab list, one of the words that we were studying is measures of central tendency. Central meaning center, okay? 3 of these are measures of central tendency. The 3 are mode, median, and mean. These are called your measures of central tendency because you're looking at numbers in the center, basically. Okay? Next week, we will do what's called measures of variation. Range is what's called a measure of variation. But that's next week. So measures of central tendency, meaning center. Okay. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there because I know it's on your vocab list and you're kind of wondering probably what it is. But these are the ones that are measures of central tendency, those three. Okay. Excuse me. Now what I'm going to do is go to number 2. But I'm going to shorten it. I'm going to make it the way that I want the rest of your homework. These were notes. This is how you do it. Now I'm going to shorten it a little bit. Does that help a little bit? Okay, so let's look at number 2. If you have to, I'm teaching if you're in the restroom. Okay, number 2. So what I'm going to do is move it up a little bit. Number 2 is this one. Okay. Kind of put it right here. Okay. It says we've got monthly spending. So the first thing that I did up here was least to greatest. So I'm going to write them in order from least to greatest. Now be very careful. These dollar signs make it a little confusing. Okay. Least to greatest. First one would be 40. Thank you. My old eyeballs are having issues finding them all. 42. 46. 50. 56. It's down there. 57. 62 and 63. Okay, and I don't even put commas between them because I don't want y'all to think it's a 1. I don't put dollar signs because I don't want you to think that was like 140. It's fine, like if you just want to do it that way. Okay, now I'm going to list the 4 things I need. I need mode, range, median, and mean. And yes, you have to list them every time, but at least it's going to be a little shorter now. Okay, mode. Which one happens the most? Which one repeats the most times? It's okay. Do any of them repeat? No. That's because it's called no mode. That means nothing repeats. No mode. Okay? Listen, you've got to use a word here. Don't put a 0, because that means to me you mean 0 is the mode. Either put no mode or put none. Okay? If it repeats, if 2 numbers repeat, you can have 2 modes. You can have 3 modes. Okay? If it's repeating multiple times. Okay? Range. Now, when I do range, I don't write the words highest and lowest, but I write down my numbers I pulled out. So I'm doing 63 minus 40, because remember, highest minus smallest is 23. That way tomorrow when we check homework, let's say you get 22, I can figure out what you did right or wrong. Okay? Median. I'm using my fingers. Here we go. I know it's kind of silly, but it works. Okay. What has just happened? 2. We have 2 of them. So listen. When you have 2 medians, there is some math that you have to do. We're going to find the mean of the medians, which sounds silly, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to have to add them together. 50 plus 56, which is 106. And since there's 2 of them, we got to divide by 2. 53. So when there are 2 medians, you add them together and divide by 2. Okay? Does that make sense at all? Yeah? Okay, mean. Now we got to add them up. What I do is this. I put it all in my calculator. Okay. 40 plus 2 plus 46 plus 50 plus 56. 7 plus 60. Whoops, I'm learning that. 62 plus 63. I got 416. Is that what you got? So Somebody double check behind me. Is everybody good? Listen, if I was at home, I would key it all in twice. But I'm hoping that you do it behind me and make sure it's 460. Is that right? Okay, what do we have to do? Divide by how many? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Divide by 8. Now, here is, I got an even number of 52. If it went out in decimal world, like point something, 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 copy the first 2 or 3 digits. Okay? Copy the first 2 or 3 digits. Is everybody feeling okay on this? Yeah? It's not hard, it's just time consuming. That's the main thing. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go on and do number 3. Kind of jump in there with me. Oh, let me show you one thing real quick while I'm thinking about it. Look at, real quick, the bottom of your worksheet. Because I don't want to run out of time and not have this talk about this. Please notice something when looking at graphs. These are easy because they give you the numbers right there that they want you to work with. But where are the numbers in number 11? Where the what is? Dot. Be careful. That dot stands for an 8. But what does that dot stand for? 10. That one's easy. That dot is a 15. Be careful. It is in the middle, but in the middle of these numbers, there's a number. That one is 12. That one is 13. Okay, I got 11. Be careful. Above 10, like that would be 11, right? Okay. That one is 8. And that one is 6. Be careful. I just want to show you that most of the graphs are easy, but that one's a little weird. Okay, number 3. The question was, earlier, are we going to do decimals? Yes. Be very careful to copy them right and to type them in your calculator right. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to write them out best I can from least to greatest. We talked about decimals from least to greatest. We got to remember it. Here we go. Okay, number 3. I've got, let's see, 1195. Like I'm looking at that little list right there. 1195. 1259. 1289. 1849, and then 2 1999s. Now mark them off. Okay. Got them all on my list. Double checking my numbers. Okay. Need 4 things. I need mode, range. And you don't have to do them in this order. It is up to you. Okay. Mode. I like mode because it's usually easy. Which one's the mode? 1999. That is right. So listen, if there was like 2 of these and 2 of these, if there were 2 1849s, you'd have 2 modes. You would say 1849 and 1999. So you can have more than one mode. Okay, range. I'm going to do the math of highest minus lowest. So it's 1999 minus 1195, which equals, and I love a good calculator, I got 8.04. 804. Does that make sense? And if you can't get these calculator numbers, talk to me. Please talk to me. Okay, median, middle number. Oh, we got 2 again, don't we? Okay, so we're going to put these 2 together. We've got to add them together. 12.89 plus 18.49 equals I got 31.38 divided by 2 equals. I got 15.69. So I added them together, and I divided by 2 because there's 2 numbers I'm working with. And mean. Here we go. We got to add them all up. Whatever you get for your total, please write it down. So if you miss it tomorrow, I can figure out, is it your adding that you're doing wrong? Or is it your dividing? Is it you can't operate a calculator? Okay. I added it up, and I got 95.9. Do not know if that is right. Did y'all get that? 95 plus. I'm just double checking. Okay, 95.9. Now what do I divide by? 6. And so I got that weird number. But what number's repeating? 3. So you should be able to write this. We've talked about repeating numbers. 983. And put the little repeater bar. Why not? You know what that is. Okay. You do that for each one. It's not hard. It is time consuming. And I'm going to tell you, you need notebook paper. For the next 2 or 3 weeks, you need pencils and notebook paper. Because it just takes space and time. Okay. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do number 4, just in case you want to see it. Here we go. Number 4. I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest. I got 14, 19, 21, 26, and 40. And I got 5 numbers, so I'm on the right track. Okay. Some are shorter and sweeter than others. Some just are longer. Okay. Mode means most. So which one's happening the most? None of them. That's right. None or no mode. Okay. Range would be biggest, which is 40, minus the smallest, which is 14. Answer is?
36.
Close.
30.
Take 10 away.
30.
26. Thank you. Yes, because it would be minus the 10 would be 30, and then minus 4 more would be 26. Okay. Median. This one's easy because it's smack dab right there, isn't it? Median is 21. Okay, mean. We got to add them all up again. Now you see why I wanted you to have a calculator. Okay, I got 120. I'm going to divide by 5. And I got 24. Is that what you got? Good. Okay. You will finish 5 through 12 for homework.
Where is 5?
Keep looking at the sheet. It is right here. You will do mean, median, mode, and range. Don't do the directions. Add the mean. 5 through 8. Then 9, 10, 11, 12. On 9 and 10, be very careful. There's a lot of numbers. Take your time. Okay. Good luck. We'll go over it tomorrow.